Doug Ford, he's the feisty Ontario premier who refuses to kiss the ring. So now President Trump is slapping an extra 10% tariff on imports from Canada.
That's dirty pool, and you can't do that. And let me just tell you, they shouldn't have done it. And they've apologized, and they said, we're going to take the ad down. Well, they did it, but they did it very late. They let it play for another 2 nights, and now they took that ad down. So I don't know when it's going to kick in. We'll see, but I don't really want to discuss it.
Well, in case you missed the Ontario anti-tariff ad, this is how it all started. Premier Ford taking President Trump's hero and basically using it against him.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse.
And as you could hear, the ad uses parts of President Reagan's 1987 speech on tariffs, making the point that they can lead to dangerous consequences. Trump called the ad fake, accusing Canada of trying to manipulate the Supreme Court ahead of a hearing on tariffs, and said negotiations are now off. By the way, Reagan's speech is not fake. It's 100% real. And if it feels like we've been here before, it's because we have. Trump called negotiations off this summer, but backtracked after 3 days. Well, the man at the center of all this drama joins me now, Premier Doug Ford. Good to see you, sir.
Oh, Kyra, thanks so much for having me on. I start every interview in the same way. Canadians love Americans. We love the U.S. I love America. I was there for 20 years. I think the world of them. And this ad was all about making sure that we protect Canada and the U.S. manufacturing jobs. And Ronald Reagan was a free trader. He didn't believe in tariffs. Protectionism is the worst thing for any country, especially the U.S. and Canada.
So, you know, after all the backlash, I have to ask you, you sure know how to push President Trump's buttons. Do you regret running this ad in any way, shape, or form?
I don't regret it at all. My intention was to make sure the American people were informed and have a conversation, and it really started a conversation. We've seen over 1 billion, with a B, 1 billion impressions, meaning 1 billion views from around the world. I was getting calls from over in the UK, Scotland, Italy, Portugal, India, all over the place. Again, this is about making sure that American people understand a tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans.
So let me ask you, President Trump is calling the ad dirty pool, even warning that he can play dirtier. Are you worried?
Well, I'm not going to get into name calling back and forth. This is dirty. It wasn't dirty. It was factual. And I can tell you, Ontario, just Ontario, not all of Canada, even though Canada's the #1 customer to the U.S., we're the #1 customer to 15 states. Ontario is #2 to 12 others. 9 million Americans wake up every morning to produce a product or a widget or a service for Ontario. I believe in the AMCAN Fortress. Let's work together, the American-Canadian Fortress. Let's be the strongest countries in the world, the safest countries in the world. And you don't do that by attacking your closest friend and ally. And President Trump has been attacking Canada from the day he's been elected. And that's unfortunate because we love Americans, and I know Americans love Canadians as well.
It's always been a very solid relationship for decades and decades, that's for sure. You know, your Prime Minister, Mark Carney, put out a statement over the weekend, Doug, as this ad played out during the highly watched World Series, we should point out, saying it is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have these tariff negotiations with the United States. So I'm curious, after that statement that he put out, what's Carney telling you today? Does he want you to back off?
You know something, I agree with the Prime Minister. That's his sole responsibility. My sole responsibility as the largest province of 16 million people is to protect our steel sector that's under attack, our manufacturing sector, which is under attack, our auto sector that's under attack. And when we get hurt, Americans get hurt. We're so integrated, especially on the auto sector. It's been around since the 1960s, the auto pack. And you can see, talk to any CEO of any of the large American auto manufacturers, they're losing billions and billions. What we've seen right now in the US, that manufacturing jobs, including auto jobs, is declining and inflation is going up. President Trump ran on creating more jobs, which is not happening, lowering inflation, which is not happening. The way to fix this is make a deal with your number one customer in the world. We buy 400% more vehicles off the US than any other jurisdiction in the world. We're your greatest customer. And yes, you're our greatest customer, and we appreciate it. And we respect America. We respect everyone down there. But you don't attack your closest ally and friend.
And clearly your leadership style in many ways is different from that of Mark Carney, as we just saw him recently, sitting in the Oval, and he was very chummy with the president. Some would call you the enforcer. Is there ever a time where Mark Carney gets what you're doing, but just says, come on, you're kind of getting in my way. I need some help here, Doug.
Well, I'm there to support him. And even though we're from two political stripes, I'm his closest ally out there. And we work well together. But again, my job is to protect the auto sector, life science sector, manufacturing. And we have a lot to offer the U.S. We ship down more oil than anyone else. We ship down the uranium to keep your nuclear facilities going, your potash to keep your agricultural sector going, the mining, high-grade nickel comes from Ontario, and we're there to support our great friends. I don't want to fight. I want to get to the table and start making a deal. I want the Prime Minister to get to the table and start making a deal on all those sectors to make both countries a lot stronger. President Reagan was the greatest president ever. He has said it over and over and over again. Protectionism does not work. President Reagan is bang on. We've created more jobs once we created the Canada-U.S. free trade deal back with Prime Minister Brian Mulroney than ever in the history of the U.S. All these tariffs are doing are hurting Americans, and I want to help them.
And as I pointed out last week when the ad was playing, President Trump loves Ronald Reagan. It's the largest portrait that hangs in the Oval Office, right to the left of his desk. It's his hero, and he'll tell you that. So let me ask you, Doug, what does it say about the way Trump governs that a TV commercial could lead to such serious action on your economy?
Well, I found it ironic because when we first played it, President Trump came out and basically almost congratulated us and said, if I was Canada, I'd run those ads too. And I guess he woke up the next morning, someone got into his ear and said, those are terrible ads. I don't want to, I have no intention to poke President Trump in the eye. I just want to get a deal that's going to be successful to all the states that we deal with. And again, we're the number one customer to the U.S. from anywhere in the world. And Ontario is the third largest customer in the world next to China and Mexico. The only difference is we buy a lot more off America than China and Mexico. That's the difference. They start undercutting and shipping products in. We don't. We play fair, and we have a great relationship with our American friends.
Well, I know a lot of American businesses here, especially small businesses, depend on having this relationship and depend on getting a lot of goods and services out of your country. So the Supreme Court will hear arguments on Trump's tariffs later this month. As you know, the administration is arguing that he can unilaterally impose these tariffs because the trade deficit is a national emergency. Does this whole situation undercut his argument, Doug?
Well, it might apply to China, it might apply to Mexico. It doesn't apply to Canada. If we took out the oil that the Americans desperately need, there's a $60 billion surplus for the U.S., which I have no problem with. We just need to work together. We're stronger together. United we stand, divided we fall. We've been united for 200 years through so many turmoils, so many wars. We stood shoulder to shoulder with our greatest friend and ally. I love the U.S. I love Americans. And God bless America and God bless Canada. We need to get through this. Put egos to the side.
I also know you love your Blue Jays, and you have this friendly. Yes, you have a friendly World Series bet going with California Governor Gavin Newsom. We're going to have some fun here. Safe to say that we won't see a similar bet between you and President Trump?
Well, I don't think so, on that at least. But Governor Newsom, we thought we'd have some fun. And I just have to say, go Jays and bring it home.
You know, growing up in California, it's tough to say this, but I'm married to a Canadian, so I'm with you with the Blue Jays. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Great to see you, Doug.
Great to see you. Thanks, Claire.